What is up? Good evening, guys. How you doing? How are we doing? Music volume too loud? I am working off of the new computer. What's up, Blue? How you doing? Working off of the new computer tonight, so need to do a little bit of a level check. So if my levels are too low, let me know. Music's too loud, let me know. If it's too quiet, let me know. Sounds good? Cool. Alright, so I'll repeat this a little bit later, but for those of you who did not come to our Super Smash Brothers night on Saturday evening, you missed out. It was a heck of a fun time. I had a great time. We're definitely going to be doing it again, so keep an eye out for that. Tonight we're going to be doing something a little bit fun. I don't want to get like kind of too bogged down in a huge project because, you know, kid coming and all that stuff. So I figured tonight we'll do something special. Paint up the Celebration Darth Vader. We'll talk about basic assembly, how to put stuff together, all that stuff. Just kind of take that off. It's fine. That's an unnecessary piece. Oh, look at that. Look how fancy that is. Legion? What madness is this? Yeah, we're going to talk about how to put together kind of little different types of minifigs tonight. Do some different style of painting, and if you don't like it, well, sorry, we'll do X-Wing in a little bit. Got all these little pieces, man. Kind of nice how they put this all together. I wonder, is this how this is with all the Legion pieces, or is this just the super special figure? All the Darth Vader cards. We're definitely going to be giving this away, this bad boy away once it's all done. Pretty hyped about that. What is this heresy? This is Legion, man. We're gonna be painting up a little bit of Legion. So the first thing that I like to do when I'm setting up all my figures, right? FFG's figures are notoriously easy to put together, so I'm not very worried about putting them together. But I do like to go around and look for mold lines. Okay, so the way that they make these figures is they have a cast, right? So in some way these are put down and then clamped down, and then they're kind of injection molded. And if you set them up correctly, the mold lines are in places where you don't really care about, like on the bottom of the cape and in the places where other pieces are going to go. But sometimes mold lines can occur like in really, really awkward places, like the top of the cape or something, if, you know, someone inexperienced was designing it. I love your hat and I want it. How do I get one? Well, I'm still thinking about that. I made this hat just for me, but if a lot of people like it, then I'd consider maybe spending an evening and putting a whole bunch of them together. Really kind of depends on my wherewithal level, how much I decide I care about you guys. Maybe we can do hats as stream giveaways, right? That would be cool. That would be pretty unique. I could tell Dion that, haha, I got something that I can give away now. I don't know what we'd give it away for. I don't even know how to do any of the like the raffle or giveaway things, but we can probably figure out something. Need to think about that more is my final answer. Okay, so Alright, so like Darth Vader, he has this like thing on the top of his helmet. That's a mold line, but they were smart and they kind of made the mold line in line with the ridge on his head where it's supposed to be. But kind of take a little X-Acto knife and then just kind of just lightly on kind of the edges of the burrs and stuff like that. Just kind of work all of that, all those extras out. You definitely don't want to be putting your model all the way together and then getting all the way to the priming stage and being like, ugh, I got some gross mold lines. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in here really quick and kind of show you what a good example of a mold line looks like. By the way, this computer is exceptionally better than the last computer that we were using. Oh, mind focus. However, the focus controls are the exact same. Okay, so see right on his arm, there's the top of Vader's arm. Looks really nice. Then you get to the bottom of his arm. See this little line. See it right there. See it right there? So anyway, what you want to do is you want to take the X-Acto knife and just take the flat of it. You don't have to be too crazy about it. And just kind of just knock that edge down a little bit. Oh, moved out of the camera because we're like super zoomed. So that's okay, we can stay there for a little bit. However, we'll refocus. Promise we'll get into focus someday. There we go. Now I would like a scum hat, please. Nice. So I don't know. I'll think about kind of how we need to do this. Probably can't make hats for everyone for free because I'm not made of money. But I might, I don't know. I'm gonna think about I need to think about that more. But it's good to know that you guys are interested in hats. I've heard multiple other folks declare their interest in hats. So actually, this Legion figure, I'm going to give the FFG designers a 2 thumbs up on this. They did a great job at putting all the mold lines in inconspicuous places, which makes it really, really nice for painting. So most of FFG stuff is slide fit, which is great. You definitely want to test out all of your fits before you glue them together. And then when you start gluing, I recommend just kind of gluing in pieces the way that you kind of want to do it. I use this Gorilla Glue gel. X-Wing is Team Fortress 3 confirmed. Man, I love Team Fortress 2. That was great. If we could do hats for everything, man, I love hats so much. Let that glue set a little bit, and then we'll kind of build Vader's body. We could paint. Okay, so now we have to make decisions. When you're painting, when you're figuring out miniatures, you kind of want to think about how you want to paint stuff. The first thing when you're painting is considering whether or not you want to paint in what's called sub-assembly. So that means before you assemble everything fully together, you paint up this part of Vader's cloak, and then you paint up this part of Vader's cloak, and after everything's painted, boom, stick them together. Right, like that. Right, or you can paint him fully assembled, where he's like this. Right, So the upside to painting in sub-assembly is that you have a lot more control about where all your paint is going, right? So it's a lot easier to paint this cape than it is to paint this cape with the chest piece and everything attached, right? Your brush can get into these little spaces easier. There's a whole lot of like upside to that. The downside is that it's harder to see the big picture. So if you're painting, so if you have everything together, right, it's a lot easier to see like where the light needs to go, where everything needs to be. And so we're just kind of like just test fitting everything at the moment, glued all together. I think we're gonna paint this guy fully assembled just because it'll be much it'll be better to paint on stream. Everybody will be able to see Vader, be able to see the whole process. Right. Just use a little bit of super glue, and if you get too much on there, just take your finger really quick and then just kind of wipe it. I just kind of wipe my fingers really quickly together so that just a little bit of super glue dries on them instead of a whole lot of super glue on a single finger. You definitely don't need too much. So how's everybody's weekend, Gwen? How did everything go? What's up, Robert Monroe? How's it going? What's up, Shazbot? I want one of those tropical hats like Tyler Tippett wears. Make those. You should probably just ask Tyler the next time he goes down to his volleyball tournament. I asked and I got one. So Pink Vader. No, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do Pink Vader. Although the memes would be strong and it would be pretty cool. We're gonna paint this guy as good as we possibly can. So that will be probably should have test fit this one before I. Right, I'm gonna take the glue off of this really quick. While you there we go. A little bit of glue here. Oh man. Does take a little bit of time just when you're gluing models together, just kind of be patient with it. Don't force it, but also at the same time don't oh man. So you see we didn't actually get him all the way together, right? You see that piece didn't go in. So there's two ways that we can fix this. The first way, that's probably the easiest, is just taking the X-Acto knife and just boring out this hole just a little bit. If it's not a perfect fit, if it's not the fit that we want, it's okay to kind of modify your model a little bit, extend and expand the range that this thing can actually fit in there. Even that's too big, then we'll actually cut down this a little bit. At first glance, looking at the bottom part, I thought it was someone getting eaten by a clam. That's funny. How you doing, Nev Plays? Welcome in, welcome in. Hopefully you're having a good night. Oh no, I broke the lightsaber. That just snapped right in half. It's okay. Fixable. Everything is fixable. Oh, broke that too. This resin is pretty brittle. So we're just gonna kind of go with it and we'll make it work. there's a large enough flat surface that's going to attach to the cape that I'm not really worried about this connecting correctly, but boom. Okay, so now we got a nice flush fit. Okay. Even if it's not the exact fit that the model maker wanted us to have, I feel like it's a really nice flush fit for that. As long as it looks natural, that's really the most important part. I feel like they wanted us to put the arms on before we put the cape on. Do you think that glue is powerful enough for an external skimmer pool leak? I'm not sure what an external skimmer pool leak is. Are you talking like a like an actual like swimming pool? Because probably not. If it's anything that's like honest, like real honest talk here, any like actual like shop things that I have to do, and if I need something to stay forever, I'll just use JB Weld. If you go pick up some JB Weld, that is pretty much the strongest epoxy that I've run into. It's some good stuff. Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine now. How are you? Okay, so I'm gonna pull out the little directions that they gave for the rocks. I'm not sure how the rocks are supposed to go, and they look really cool. And someone tried really hard to design them. Let's move this out of the way for a second. That's what we need to do. This rock goes in here. Have this rock apparently go here. Boom. Okay. Our rock goes in there, so we'll glue that in. We'll just make this a little puzzle that we solve one piece at a time. My wife is the one who's good at puzzles, not me. I'm really bad at them. Okay. Because when I run into a problem that's a puzzle problem, I just say, oh, let's just cut it and make it fit. They don't like that with puzzles. So our big piece, so we're oriented this way. This piece. This piece. And I guess maybe this piece goes in here. I think the idea is they're all supposed to be kind of facing up. You can watch me kind of be a noob at putting this together. Oh, there we go. Cool. That looks right. Go with that. We'll call that permanent. Okay. And this one goes in here since it's the tall piece. I can tell you from firsthand knowledge it will not work. JB Weld? Well, if JB Weld won't help repairing a pool, then you should probably just mix up some concrete and just do it again. Full pool. Started from over. Just tear the pool out. Good luck. Not sure if that was the right piece. Wondering if that was oh, the right piece now because we just freaking broke it in there. Again, we'll just go with the rule of cool. If we can make it look cool, then it'll. Little rock. Need like a rock that is low key. I'm not sure how they want us to fit all these in here. This is ridiculous. I hate assembling models. That's half the reason I play X-Wing, because assembling models is not my forte. That looks right. Okay, let's. As long as I'm not accidentally going backwards. It's really the only important part. And Anakin doesn't like lava. His cast line was far though, isn't it? No, mate, his beef is with sand. That's great. Did everybody have a good weekend? I hope all you guys had an okay Monday. The okayest of Mondays is really what I think we're all going for. That's what I'm hoping for you guys. The okayest of Mondays. I am currently... Everybody at work is stressed out because I think I'm just going to leave them high and dry for a while, which is a little true, but not totally true. So I'm getting a lot of questions and pressure and all that stuff from people's. Okay, so I feel like FFG could have designed this whole rock face thing a little better, because I certainly put it together wrong, and I blame them. 4 instructions for my ADD brain, and 4 oh, okay, so we broke all the things. All right, let's put this guy back in your hole. Glue to me. Here, get back in your hole. Boom. This rock, I guess, goes here. At least it's gonna go there, because that's where I can get the most glue points on it. It doesn't go anywhere. That'll hide kind of some of the weird things that I think are going on with this. This one. Sure. Sure. Let's go with that. Ta-da! This is exactly how the base is supposed to look. I don't even care if it's true or not. Do this. This gets glued onto the larger base. Then figure out where Vader's supposed to be standing. Back to the figure picture. Looks like little like outcrop here thing. I think he's supposed to be oriented this way. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Set him down like that. Boom. He hated sand and then the lava set him on fire. Now he hates both. Well, if you think about it this way, Lou. Oh no, rock design is weird. Darn it, FFG. Why couldn't it be one single mold? Rock design is weird, alright? I'm allowed to not like the rock design. I said I like the rest of the model, I just don't like the rocks. It's like the monkey statue from Legends of the Hidden Temple to the max. Right. I think you guys look at this awesome fig from the top down pose for, I don't know, 15 seconds while I go get a little surprise now that I'm thinking about it. Hold on. Yo, I'm back. And I brought with me some acrylic rod that we can use for Darth Vader's lightsaber. Sounds cool, huh? So I'm just getting the same length as the other blade, and then the acrylic is super thick. There we go. Boom. Oh man, I wish we could do an LED mod, but I'm like so bad at LEDs. You would be just disappointed. Let's see if we think that'll fit. We'll do some nice glow work with it. It would be great if we could do an LED mod, but I mean, then we'd have to put the wire somewhere, and we could probably fit it behind his cape and then put it down, but man, I don't got the wherewithal for that project right now. Although, if we did do a pink Vader, people would be pretty upset, right? Like, the community in general would be pretty mad that I pinked out a super limited edition Darth Vader. We'll sand that down in just a bit. But we can set that aside for now. It's your model, who cares what they think? Well, it's actually one of your guys' models, and so I do care what you guys think. Grab a glove, and we'll start the priming process. We're never disappointed. We enjoyed Dion painting a bust. What's the reason for attaching an acrylic rod over attaching the same blade? Well, the acrylic rod is see-through, and so after we paint the glow, the lightsaber will have more of a realistic effect. Okay, so let's start off with some surface primer gray. Pick it up real good. We'll probably paint Darth Vader in a classic style so that it has the most appeal and will, you know, at the end of the day, we have to remember that we're trying to get more people to, you know, be a part of our Gold Squadron Club. And so if people can't think that we're like, you know, just all people who are all about fun, right? We got to be about the theme. But my fluff. So I'm just putting on the primer, you know, pretty thin, but enough to get good coverage. Making sure to give it some good air as well. You know, same thing that you normally would do with that we've talked about with X-Wing models. The exact same paint applies, right? The exact same rules apply. The reason we're not priming in black is because I don't have any black primer, so we're using what we got. So we'll see if we can do as good as Sarastro did on his. That'll be our like litmus test. Is a note for people who are doing Legion figures. Unlike X-Wing, you do want to prime Legion. There's just it's just straight resin or plastic or whatever combination of the two that they're using. So definitely make sure you prime these. Otherwise your paint is just not going to stick very well. And if you are painting resin, you can also consider just varnishing over your resin before you prime. All right. And then make sure that you clean out your airbrush when you finish. Don't let that primer sit in your paint pot for too long. In all seriousness, lava in the rock creases would be cool. We can do that. That's easy. Good technique too. So just because we put Vader on a on the rock doesn't mean we can't pull him off, right? The glue's brittle enough that we can break it off if we need to. So if we wind up wanting to paint the base separately from Vader himself, that's possible. This is just going to give us a really good idea of how we want the light to hit, how we want shadows to work, all that kind of stuff. Isophane, how you doing? Congratulations on your own poster. That was pretty hilarious. What Vulcan did for you. I'll take out these headphones. I think, unlike you, the music for me is pretty loud. So, how's the computer holding up? Dude, this computer is like the coolest thing that, like, seriously, it is by far the best computer that I've ever owned. I usually buy like Midland. I usually buy like Midland computers, so this one is just like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. If Vader's on a rock, does that mean he can never attack? Probably in X-Wing, yes. But I'm not sure how that works in Legion. We should. I was gonna say I'd pull out the hairdryer, but the hairdryer is like 3 feet over to the left of me, and I'm just not gonna grab it. I'll have to post some pictures of how I got my setup all squared away. I spent like the last, so I spent most of Saturday getting everything ready so that I could stream from this computer for the Smash tournament that we did, and the Smash that we did. That was a lot of fun. And then I spent all of Sunday taking apart everything that I put together so that I could get all the cable cords and cord binders and all that stuff together, and man, the whole thing was just a blast. So yeah, but now everything's wrapped up. Everything is accessible. And guys, for those of you that weren't here on Saturday, and didn't play in the Super Smash Brothers tournament, or didn't hang out, man, I'm not going to say you missed out, but you super missed out. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. For those of you that want to participate next time, I will definitely be giving more notice, and that will be because obviously we can't just be doing more like, oh, we're just going to do this the day of, right? It'll just painting up Vader's new target lock. Oh man, if someone used this for Vader's target lock, that would be awesome, and a little bit of a shame for how nice this model is going to be when it's finished up. Or glue a Kira figure to his back. Do we have a Kira figure? I don't know. Do they make one yet? I don't think they made one. I guess we could always use like a something else. It is bad Dream Unit. Welcome in. It is the Celebration Vader, and he is going to look glorious when he's finished. There's a good look at him. There's got to be a Kira Lego minifig. Yeah, but I mean, on the paint cast, Jedi Swald, 2003. How do you plan your paints? Well, so we're starting in gray. So what we're thinking about, this is actually a really good question, because very smart question, Jedi Swallowed, because I was just about to talk about this. We need to start thinking about how this mini is going to accept light. Okay, so we want to paint this mini from it's going to be a one-directional light source, but we're going to have two actual light sources to it, right? We're going to have one light source. What I'm thinking right now when I'm looking at the model is that we want light coming down from this angle, right? So we want light hitting all portions of this. So this is going to be our brightest area, this section right here. And our darkest area is going to be this section back here. But we have a second light source to consider, and that's his lightsaber. His lightsaber is going to come out, and then it's going to provide a different sourced glow of light over this direction. So we're going to deal with one at a time. We're going to deal with all the natural lighting that comes with Vader being this way. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to take this dark gray blue. We're going to take this dark gray blue, and we're going to start working up from the bottom, right? We can work probably all around the mini, because dark gray blue is actually pretty dark, and Vader is black. So, but we're going to slowly darken in the dark parts, brighten in the light parts, and then just make sure that all the light looks natural from all the different points. So as far as how I'm planning minis, that's kind of how I initially look at everything. Is how does this mini kind of connect in terms of lighting? Where is the lighting going to look best on this mini? If you were making a shot of this guy in a movie, where would you want the light to be? And so the light to me is going to be like right on the top of his head, right on this side of his face, coming down, right? And then we have light coming up from the lightsaber, because we don't want the light coming from the same direction as the lightsaber, because then either the light from the lightsaber is going to get washed out, or the other light is going to get washed out. Well, Bad Dream Unit, this is going to be up for grabs here at some point. Not tonight, obviously, but at some point, we're going to be this mini will be given away. So keep following. Come on to tournament days and keep following us. But yeah, it is a pretty incredible mini. So this, so we're just kind of moving Vader into more of his natural colors. Right? Remember that painting black is tricky, right? Because black is not actually black, right? Black is really dark gray, right? Nothing is ever like truly pure black. So we need to represent that on the model, because when something that's black is in the sunlight, there are pieces of it that are really shadowed and look pretty black. But then a lot of other pieces are fairly bright, especially if the item is glossy, like Darth Vader's helmet. Darth Vader's helmet is glossy, so because of that, his there's actually going to be pure white spots on the top of his helmet. And if you need confirmation of that, definitely go spend a couple hours or spend a couple minutes and go watch any of the Star Wars movies with Darth Vader in it. I thoroughly recommend Rogue One. Rogue One is definitely what this model is based on. Very athletic looking Darth Vader that can kind of move about and do stuff. And as long as your coats are pretty thin, you can put quite a lot of different colors of paint on these models. So don't feel like you're ruining anything by kind of coating the whole model, especially as long as your paints are thin. If your paints are really thick, then that's kind of a different story. Do you ever start off with a sketch of what you plan to do with your paint job before you paint? Yeah, sure, definitely. A lot of times, and here's a good tip. If you are a planner, a good tip is to take this paint job. Oh, we kind of lost focus here, didn't we? Is to take this paint job and look at how it looks. Take a photo of it and then take it into like Photoshop or something. My whole focus kind of, not my personal focus, but my focus of Darth Vader. Find that sweet spot. Sorry, guys. I think part of it has to do with that it's, you know, that it's gray, right? And so it's all kind of one color, and the digital camera isn't picking it up super great. Okay. Did your airbrush wash clean it out well? Yeah, totally. Just left it in a kind of batch of simple green for, I don't know, it wound up being a little more than a day just because I forgot about it. Wound up getting it out Saturday morning, cleaning out the airbrush. It all worked great, easy peasy. Sometimes it just, I mean, sometimes that just stuff just happens. Gunk gets built up in there, and there's just not a whole lot you can do about it. So, anyway, back to what Jedi Oswald was asking. So you can take a picture of your model and then bring it into like Photoshop and start working on, if you're good with Photoshop or Light or anything, like Lightroom or something like that, you can take it into Photoshop and actually like work it, right? Figure out all the things. I know that Crazy Vulcan, I don't think he's in here tonight, but he on our Discord, he actually works up like every single ship, doesn't he? And actually paints it up fully in paints it up fully digitally before he puts it to task. So not something that I always do, but occasionally it's a really useful tool. Okay, so we're gonna take pure black now, and we're gonna start working out the deeper, darker recesses. All the places that aren't gonna get a whole lot of light, we're gonna start putting these shadows in. You would think that black would be just all over Vader, because Vader is a really, I mean, because his armor is black, right? But again, like we've already talked about, because black is such a strong color on models, we have to make sure we're kind of accentuating it in the right way. So what I'm doing is I'm actually, you can see the angle, right? This is straight down, right? You can see that I'm hitting Vader almost from straight down, right, with the black. This is, all I want to do is I want to get in there and get all of the places that light is for sure not going to hit, and get that nice and dark. Okay, and you can kind of see how that works, right? So this is that dark blue gray. This is that black, right? And as you and we kind of want to keep the shadows going this way, right? We're gonna bring the shadows back a little bit when we do the lightsaber glow. But we want to make sure that Vader's armor is nice and dark where the light is absent. So if the light is coming, we want to make sure we have a really strong light focal point. That's what's gonna, that is truly, like, light, where light is really what makes models, like, brings out models' character, is how you paint light. And for X-Wing, we don't really have to worry about light so much, because, I mean, we really are working with something that's closer to a game piece than it is like a traditional model, right? Because, you know, just this single Vader is really is such a you know, has such action in his pose. An A-Wing just sitting on a stand doesn't necessarily have like a whole lot of action to him. It's just a ship, right? It's just there. And ships are, I mean, like the Millennium Falcon, amazing model, really great, and can look, and I mean, you know, we've shown that it can look, we can make X-Wing models look great, but there's character. There's something human about this that requires just a little bit more. Hey, Drail 14 me? Drail 14 me? I don't know what that, 14y? Yep. Let me get this. Hey. Maybe we're just zoomed in too. The camera seems to act differently with every computer that I've used it on. So I'm still trying to work out the intricacies of this whole thing, so I apologize, guys, for... There we go. There we go. Okay. So, thanks for the tips. Been planning to paint up a Sheath Pete shuttle into a yellow submarine, but I'm stuck at planning the tail and the scope editions because I'll have to mod those instead of painting them on. Yes. Okay. So, Jedi Oswald, when we're painting, when you're planning a mod, I always at least plan out the mod like strongly in my head of exactly how I'm gonna do it. A lot of times I will build everything, dry fit everything, have everything sit, and then we'll kind of keep on. So definitely kind of consider, definitely take the time that you need to figure out your mod, and then that will help you figure out your paint. Yeah, Epionic, we're working on the new rig. I spent all weekend kind of getting it all squared away and together, so it's so good. I mean, like I can't be more thankful to Dion for, you know, like, that's like the coolest thing that, you know, anybody that's not like my immediate family has ever done for me. But at the same time though, like me getting a new computer, right? That's all on you guys. Like, that's almost all on you guys. If you guys weren't here all the time, you know, then there would be no reason for that. Dion would say, your channel doesn't really do great. So what I went to a Master Series Twilight blue. It's kind of a little bit of a brighter blue. It's that next step up from that dark gray blue. I would put this up on the brush, on the paint thing, but it doesn't seem to be working tonight. I have to figure that out. And so what I'm doing is I'm creating a little more light with the airbrush, right? And you can do the same thing with the brush, and we're going to go back to the brush. But this is really just basing in all of our colors, right? We're not worried about the rocks right now. We're just worried about Vader himself. And Vader getting some light, right? We want to work on... We're slowly kind of brightening up these spots that have brightness, while making sure not to change our angle on our airbrush, because we don't want the we don't want darker. We don't want those the places where we need to be a little bit darker to you know, we don't want to mess any of the shading that we've already done. Yeah, we all benefit. But so, I mean, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys. It's this stream. Unlike, I think that really, unlike any of the other Gold Squadron streams, this is, at least I want it to be. And if it's not, we're going to continue to work towards it to be the most kind of community-oriented stream that we can make it. I have no real interest in this being, you know, like, about, you know, me or anything. This is about all of us and all of our journeys towards painting. So I mixed a little bit of white into this blue. And I'm just kind of hitting, just like, we're now to the point where we're really trying to get these, like, extreme little slots in here. We're starting to work smaller and smaller and smaller, right? And this is kind of the power of the airbrush here, right? Because the airbrush is picking up shadows in the same way that we pick up light, right? That light would pick them up. So we want to look to where we want Vader to be, and then say, okay, this is his angle, and then we have... And we're gonna knock down these highlights, right? We're kind of over highlighting so that we can go back in and fix everything, right? It's not so that we're not necessarily worried at this exact moment about being perfect. We just want to make sure that we're getting that anywhere that needs bright, we got bright. I'm happy you teamed up with GSP for your videos. Now that they're on YouTube, I can download them and watch them online since I can't stream. Well, yeah. And I actually also, the new computer helped with that too. Well, at least it helped me finally do it. So, I don't typically edit all my own videos because, one, I'm really bad at it and it'll take me forever if I do that. And then two, Dion is a whole lot faster at doing those kind of edits and things, the basic edits. So, I wrote a script that will upload all of my videos and all of my every single time I post. The minute I post this, the stream will be I will at least have uploaded it to the private folder that Dion can access, and then he can take it. And it'll get uploaded more promptly. At least that's the goal. Right? I would love, and if that doesn't work, then we'll try something else. But So we're kind of still working up. We're working up, right? We're working that brightness up. And we're gonna definitely have to come back in here and like calm these highlights down. But in the beginning, when you're first starting this, a lot of my process when I'm working on an actual like model figure is to kind of overemphasize where all the light should be so that it's really obvious, right? And we're gonna end here with some pure white, and that's hopefully gonna make it like the most obvious that we can where the light is supposed to be. And then we can just kind of take the brush and we can just start working our way down with the brush and getting all the black situated. Because obviously on the Darth Vader model, the black is by far the most important part of the whole entire model. If we get the black right, then the buttons are going to be easy. All the extra pieces are going to be easy, and then we're gonna and then we'll be cruising. The lightsaber, the red OSL glow is going to be pretty easy. So we want to make sure we get all of those pieces and parts right. So pulling out some white here, some pure white. I'm really sad that my paint camera isn't really working. It was working yesterday when I was testing it out. Just wasn't working tonight when I think because I have two cameras, the face cam and the paint cam, and they're both like the same and they're named the same and everything, that I kind of that maybe Windows is getting a little confused. All right. So here I'm just taking the white and I'm going over the places that should have a little bit of glare and glint to them. I'm talking like armor plates, right? And a good way to do that with your airbrush is to keep your airbrush at the same angle. Assume your airbrush is the sun, okay? Keep it at that same angle and just move it, right? Move it at that same angle around to the different pieces of the model, okay? And just hit those upper edges. Hit like that boot knot, right? And this will really give like that glint of where the of where all of it's supposed to be. Kind of looks like Two-Face right now, but hopefully you can kind of start to see where all of these like how I'm kind of blocking in the light, right? It looks super bad right now, and I understand that, but we're gonna get to a place where it looks better. And since we know where the light is now we can actually, and we have it airbrushed in, we're base coated and we're ready to kind of move on. Yeah, dang technology. Thanks for doing these videos. You really helped me improve my painting. Just excited to see the Legion Vader. I picked up some Legion for the first time a few weeks ago. Just started painting them. Gonna have to download this video once it's on YouTube. Thanks for doing it. Awesome. Yeah, no worries. Happy to do it. We are going to still be a primarily X-Wing channel, but occasionally when I am feeling a little, I don't know, in the mood to paint X-Wing, we'll pull out something else and kind of do something fun. I've had this Celebration Vader in the wings for quite a while, so felt like it's time to start working at it. Nolan Oil for the win. I purchased the Celebration Vader online. I posted it on a Facebook and nobody liked it. I'm looking to improve and fix it and make it look better. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, the cool thing about modern miniatures and painting modern miniatures is that there's always time and the ability to improve the work that you've worked on, right? Back in the 90s when you know, it was hard to paint miniatures, because if you wanted to paint miniatures, you had to go find, you know, books or magazines about how to paint models, and you know, there wasn't really the internet. There wasn't a whole bunch of people together sharing in their hobby, figuring out how to get better. I mean, you need to. It's amazing to me just how strongly the internet has made how much better miniature painters are now, and most of that is due to the internet and groups of people who want to work together. So there are so many resources. And so if that's something that you want to do, there is more than ample room. Okay, so we're going to be using, speaking of Nolan Oil for the win, we're going to be using DD's Magic Ink. We're going to just kind of start kind of on his cloak here. We're going to start pushing some black in here. We're going to make this, I haven't decided if I want to make this look like as realistic as possible or kind of keep it a little more comic booky, right? A little more abstract. I think we'll probably lean towards the latter, since that's really more my style. I'm not great. Always practicing, but I'm not great yet at painting realism, right? When you see people who paint realism really well, almost always, at least in my experience, you can be like, yep, they went to art school. Because it takes a lot of time and a lot of technique and a lot of practice. And for most hobbyists don't have the time to practice a college worth of education, a college degree, right? What I mean by that is we don't have professors that already have gone through all the process to teach, right? It's just a whole lot of, you know, us guessing and figuring it out. And so most people who go to art school wind up painting much better and much more realistically than, you know, we could ever hope to. But that's not an excuse for not doing a good job, at least for me. So, you know, so I'm putting the shade into the recesses of the cloak, right? We're just kind of working on getting that kind of shadow down a little bit, figuring out where we're at. Doing the same thing with the with kind of the chest pieces. All the pieces that are really, really bright, I'm kind of working transition, like I'm using the shade as a transition tool in order to kind of create this kind of natural transition. Black. That's essentially where we're going on all of these on all these as we're going to black. We're going to work up some glazes here in just a minute and kind of work through some glazing techniques. But hopefully here in the next couple minutes, this guy will start to look even much better. Oh, yeah. Need thanks Lou. Yeah, bad dream. We are a family friendly channel. I personally I don't mind, but channel rules dictate that we keep it as PG as possible. Now, that said, I'm surprised that the automod didn't catch that. So I'm kind of using a pin washing method here on places that I want to maintain brightness, but I want to get that I want to catch all that detail, right? We're gonna. For a second, Lou, I thought you were yelling at me. I was like, oh no, did I say something? Right, dang technology. Yeah, I mean, so I would have to move over to where the Twitch is and do that to ban you, but I won't. We'll just call it good for now. We'll have a gentleman's agreement that there won't be any more problems, but we're good. I'm kind of pin washing this whole model. I'm still not like 100%. I mean, we're really super over bright up here. We're gonna need to bring that down. We might be maybe a little bit too black in these regions back here. Might have to bring that up a little bit. So this is gonna be just kind of a constant struggle, right? Back and forth, you know, what is black enough, what is too black, what isn't black, right? And when you're working with black, you want to work black to blue to white. The reason why, so we want to work black to kind of this dark blue, this dark gray blue, the blue to white. The reason why is because this provides a much more, blue provides a much more natural tone when you're working yourself up. Two, all of black pigment is made from blue pigment, right? So there's no such thing in the paint world. There's no such thing as black, right? All black is actually just incredibly dark blue. So when you're highlighting black, when you mix white with black, you don't usually get like a pure gray. You usually get just a little bit of a bluish gray, and that's because of the blue and the pigment in the black. So the most natural way to highlight up black is with blue, right? And so since we go all the way to white because we have shinies, then it becomes more important to work that blue in as you're moving up into brighter and brighter color. And you don't have to do this, right? This isn't when you're painting, you don't have to work all the way up to white. It's just, this is kind of the way that I paint. I like painting these big, giant, strong transitions. It's something that I'm just into. I like taking my time on these on paints, right? On these type of paints. I'm not rushing myself. Kind of working through my process of, okay, so we're starting at this kind of mid-tone-ish, and then we work down to get our lower contrast, and then we work up to get our upper contrast. And then I'm going to start using I'm using this glaze. I'm using this glaze medium, right? You guys have seen me use this all the time before, and we're using just this Twilight blue, right? And I'm just glazing up or glazing down, creating a little bit of shadow on where these white pieces are. We put the Nuln Oil in. Now I just want to start glazing it down. But remember, what the glaze medium does is it creates, it makes your paint like stained glass, right? It allows you to, it makes it really transparent. So without acting like a wash, without running, right? So the glaze will stick like paint, but it won't go on very thick. So it will allow us to do a couple different layers in order to get the right transition color that we want. I personally find this is a much easier method of painting than blending, right? Wet blending. Wet blending's hard. It takes, if you don't understand the technique of wet blending is a pretty difficult task. So, but when you're glazing just requires a lot of patience, right? Just requires you to paint it, let the thing dry, put the paint in the right places, and then over the course of two or three coats, maybe 4, maybe 5, you know, you never know. Whatever that takes, you're gonna get a really nice transition into a stronger color. Okay. So when I talk about glazing and how that works on an X-Wing model, you can see that I'm talking about the exact same thing in this, right? Miniature painting is, even though it's different when you're painting a ship to when you're painting a figure, they're the core techniques, the core things that we talk about here on this channel are the exact same. It's all about creating something interesting to look at. And you know, for me, you know, I have this is my method of doing it, right? And I mean, if you guys watch Sarastro's videos, right, he has a much different way of doing it. I mean, I don't think anybody will claim, I certainly won't, that he's an amazing painter. He's a much better painter than I am. You know, but so I mean, his methods are just as valid and just as valuable to learn as mine, right? You got to learn what works for you, and the only way you do that is by painting, right? So if you're painting your minis, you're already or if you're working on painting your minis, you're one step closer to finding the way that you paint and the way that you can be kind of as creative as possible within this space. Hey, I was thinking of adding some blue to the black on my silencer. Awesome. It's gonna be a lot of fun with multiple silencers on the table, some thick and some new ones. Yeah, I have 2 big ones. Don't think I'll get a third, but we'll look neat watching them face off. Definitely. Man, the silencer is I mean, can we say it's the, I was gonna say it's the coolest ship in the new trilogies, but I'm not sure that that's true. The like, let's see, I'm thinking about it right now. There are some like really awesome ships in the new trilogy. A-Wings are great. T70, T70s are awesome. Silencers are cool. The TIE FOs, just their paint scheme, right? Just the paint scheme in itself is awesome. So this kind of painting, the way that I'm kind of like trying to work Vader, you can see his face. His face is like real bright. And so I'm trying to tone it down, but also trying to blend in how this color is kind of look. And you can see when I'm painting the glaze over this white isn't actually going to be, like, it's brighter because it's white, right? And it's darker because it's black. And so as long as you keep this transparency in your paints, you wind up getting a really good kind of mid color. If you need to make it a little stronger, just paint on another coat when it's dry. Get a third one, recoil and 2 generics as a great list. Interesting. Never tried that. May have to vassal that one. The one I'd been looking at for FO was 2 generics and quick draw. Hopefully they get cheaper at the end of the month. Man, if First Order doesn't get cheaper, I'm gonna lose it. Lose it. I need First Order to be a reasonable faction that doesn't require just tons of epic skill to play, because right now competitively First Order is not exceptional. They're pretty okay. Rage. That's right. So mad. So mad. Yeah. So my kind of thought moving forward with this channel here is that obviously we're gonna keep painting, right? We're gonna keep painting every Monday and Thursday night. But I was talking to some people, some peeps, and I think I want to start including more Super Smash into the lineup here, because it was super fun. For those of you that are not interested and all you're interested in is painting, then just, like, I don't know, tune out for a minute and a half or so. But I'm thinking like maybe like Saturday evenings, or Saturday afternoons or something, when Dion is done with his stream for the day. That might be fun. We could also potentially do some sort of like during the day thing on the weekends. I mean, I obviously don't want to. I have other things that I have to accomplish in my day other than stream and play Super Smash, but I do want to play some Super Smash more, because it was too much fun. I don't get to play that. I don't play video games all that often, and I'm not very good at them. So it was fun to play other people who are also not very good as me. I'm just going in with this dark sea gray, right? And I'm starting to kind of glaze in some of these portions, some of these sections. Dude, Epionic, I get it, man. It's totally okay. You don't have to. I'm happy that you just made it. Like, there's no rule saying that you gotta be all the time. I mean, don't tell Dion, but I don't make all of his streams, right? So I mean, it's okay. It's not a. It has everything to do with you living your life. These so you, hopefully you guys are starting to see that these glazes, as we're using them, like they really do make quite a difference in making transitions look good. And this is kind of what I mean in my head. This is kind of what mini painting is. It's just a whole lot of little tiny. Once you have your base stuff locked in, it's just a whole lot of adjustments. Just slowly adjusting things down or up in volume and intensity. Sometimes you want things bright. Sometimes it's not useful to have it so bright. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of air here so that I can get it to dry a little faster. Hey Marcel, how you doing? I think that's Marcel Manzano right there. Lou's got his trip silencers, proton rockets, Predator advanced optics, first order test pilot, fanatical advanced optics, first fanatical advanced optics. Awesome. I do love the silencer dial. That's so good. Marcel, this is a weird looking ship. His name is Darth Vader. You play Scum most of the time. I wouldn't think that you'd recognize him. So just taking the air, just drying it off. There's nothing in the paint pot. We're just kind of just going for it. Where are we at? 8:30. All right, got about half an hour left. Got to spend a little bit of time with the missus. She's at that point now. This is the best ship. She's at that point now where she needs she's emotionally feeling like she needs some more attention. So which is understandable, right? She's about to go through a pretty scary experience, I think. A good experience, but a scary experience. I mean, I would be scared if I was her. Lou. Now Lou the lunatic is on the YouTube. Just moved over. Didn't even say goodbye. Right, Epionic, any moment now. I mean, she's supposed to be due on Wednesday, so we have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. So we'll see. So, guys, I mean, like, as much as I'm sure you expect a Thursday stream, I'm guessing that might not happen. So, like, don't hold your breath. If we can manage it, we can manage it. If not, though, like, don't be expecting a lot out of me for that. So, the thing about Glaze Medium. Glaze Medium dries pretty slow. It's one of those things that you want to... now I'm back. YouTube is crazy land. So, when you're using Glaze Medium, just kind of keep in mind that it's okay to be patient. That you're not going to get everything done in kind of one go. Right? Kind of let yourself kind of paint and think about where the colors are, where you want them to be. Kind of mixing this cape up, trying to get really nice, natural looking transitions. I recognize him just fine. I just refer to him as First Victim. That's funny. You're so funny. So, but yeah, I feel like maybe, just maybe, tonight I'll have a little bit of time to do a little bit of drawing. Maybe start designing that the next hack. Congrats, man. My little one turned 18 2 days ago. 18, Marcel. No way. That's just nuts. I can't even imagine 18 years in the future still. That's gonna make me almost 50. Now we have just the pure black glaze, right? Be careful with the pure black glaze because it still has a lot of coverage potential. So even though you're using a glaze, there's still a lot of transition that black can do. Black is it's such a strong color that you just have to be just really careful about how it's applied. Maybe we can use this as an I'll show you the dark side token. I don't know, you use it for whatever you want. If you win this guy, you use this however you want. So, found a spot in the yard where Twitch works. This might become my Monday and Thursday hangout weather pending. Oh. Derail. What's I don't want to be nosy, but where do you live? Because I think that's hilarious. So now I'm taking the 3 colors. So here, this is a really messy palette right now, but I have 3 colors. I have the light blue, the medium blue, and the black, right? And I'm just kind of mixing them up into different patterns, right? And I'm kind of filling that in places where I kind of like feel like there might be more shadow. I'm using kind of the blue black, and when there's like super shadow, that's when I'm using just the black glaze. And I'm kind of just working those in on top of the other colors. Not particularly worrying a whole lot about anything, just painting. And these glazes, right, the way that the glazes work, they're super thin, so we're gonna get good color transition throughout the whole thing. And if we do it right, when we finish, it's gonna look just real natural. There might be a little bit of comic book excitability to it because I feel like that's my style. I feel like that's how I paint, is I have just a little bit of like superfluousness, a little bit of unnaturalness to my painting style. Because, and the reason why I have that is because I think it's cool. Right. We're not going to make a white glaze, right? We have all the brightness that we need here. We might edge highlight some stuff in white, but we don't need to, but there's zero need to do anything. Generally, there's zero need for us to do anything in white itself. And when we edge highlight in white, that's going to make a whole lot of difference too. When you're working with things that are shiny or metallic or stuff like that, I mean, just going in pure white makes so much difference. Hey, Brandon Prokos, how you doing, buddy? Long time no see. Can't ever see the YouTube numbers. They just never really come in right. I'm in Mississippi. Squirrels have to carry the internet to me back in the woods. That's funny. But funny, but also it's funny to me because I understand. So for about 10 years I lived in Rawlins, Wyoming, which is also pretty much the middle of nowhere. Pretty fun. I mean, great place. Great people, great place, right? But it's just, you know, it's just nowhere. And so, you know, when you talk about squirrels carrying the internet to you, I'm like, yep, I get that. You know. And then before that, I lived in Laramie, Wyoming, and that was only good because the university was there. What? What? Yoda? Seagulls stomping on my head, not fun. So I put a new noise gate on my mic. So does my mic just, hopefully my mic sounds a little bit better. Generally. Hopefully there's less like immediate feedback in all of the, all your ears. I know it doesn't like feel like we're doing a whole lot of much, but we really are. We're making a lot of progress here. Right. Glazing is just one of those things that if you're gonna do it on part of the model or all the model, just kind of just have to keep going with it. The fun thing about glazing is that it's hard to make your paint like so thick on the model that you lose detail, right? So you can just kind of go at it like, 6, 7, 8 coats. Of course I know the Seagull song. I'll probably sing the Seagull song all by itself right now. You know what? We're gonna... Alright, hold on. We're actually gonna rock out Seagulls really quick. Let me pull it up here. If we get banned from YouTube because of this, then I guess, Dion, I'm sorry. But I want to listen to it. video will play after ad.
So I was excited about all new Colgate Total. It has sensitivity relief, so I don't have to give up doing what I love.
Aren't we lucky?
New Colgate Total. Do more for your whole mouth.
There we go. If it's too loud, let me know.
Penny for your thoughts.
Penny for your thoughts.
I hate Brenda, and a bad guy hit me.
I'm sure you covered this, but what paint brands are you using? These are Vallejo, but I have a whole bunch of other ones that I need to
I'm
figure
not
out.
your friend. Don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep.
Don't fall asleep. Down. One of the best Star Wars music I've heard. Star Wars rap, Doc Awkward. Oh, that one's so good. And the Star Wars The Force theme, Far Out remix. I will try the Far Out remix once stream ends. I think we can only test the Force so many times tonight. The worst thing that can happen is Dion gets a message from YouTube saying that he's been banned for X period of time for streaming with copyright violations. That does happen occasionally. Worth. Where were we? Okay, so derail. We're talking about we have Leho paints. I use those a lot. Occasionally I'll also use these like Createx airbrush colors if I just need like something massively base coated. Soon though, we're gonna be moving to move this over. We're gonna be moving over to trying out these Monument Pro Krill paints. I've heard nothing but good things, and I have the whole entire box. We'll also be trying the Games Workshop contrast paints when they come out, and just generally whenever we run into something that I figure is worthwhile, we'll go ahead and give it a go. I have to think about this Vader helmet here and how crazy I want to get on this shine, because he needs some shine on his helmet, but I'm just not sold on it. Right, sold on it yet. So another trick when you're trying to paint something shiny that's bright is to edge highlight the whole bright thing in white. Because when you're talking about shiny, bright, dark objects, the edges are always just like really highly reflective and really bright. And what that does is that it makes your eye think, oh yeah, okay, that's shiny, right? Because your eye has seen a lot of shiny things. So even in dark places, edge highlighting that in white like tends to can make things look more natural. Sometimes it makes things look weird, right? And if it does, you can just paint back over it. And sometimes you want to edge highlight in something that's not white, right? And that's okay too. Like you want to edge highlight in maybe like a bright gray or something like that. Something that's not just so much in your face. We're gonna keep moving on here. Keep painting this stuff. And Vader, by the time he's finished, he's gonna look like just so fly. He's gonna look so good. Real excited. So, even though we just started painting the edge highlighting the armor, you can see how much that like white ties everything together. So one thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is that on the edges here, you want to make sure that you're really hitting that with like wherever there's white, you want there to be like real black, like pretty quickly after. So whenever there's like something that's there's excessive white in there, you want to make sure that you're coming in with that nice contrast color. And this is just for shiny items, right? This is just for things like helmets or I don't know. I'm sure you can think of other shiny items. Guns that are like that are black, that are supposed to be shiny, like Han's blaster, right? It's kind of shiny. Kind of want to make sure that there's a fine line between, if you're not painting it metallic, right? There's a fine line between, okay, we want this to be like, we want white on here, but then you want that contrast in there, because that contrast is what the actual shine looks like. If you pull out something that's black and shiny right now, you'll see the shine is this like glint, right? It's this piece of white that's somewhere on whatever object you're looking at. And then, but right next to it is like just really dark, right? And so that contrast is like, okay, the new Legion paint set. I mean, we can try it, I guess, maybe. The new Legion paint set is all it is though is it's an army painter set. Not happy with the new Citadel paints. Been kind of forced to use P3. I like scale 75. J Road Dog, man, scale 75 is pimp. It's so good. Derail, just tried Vallejo paints for the first time. Really like them. Yeah, I mean, I bought like 200 Vallejo paints on sale. So that's why I'm using them, because I have them, so I use them a lot. And we still need to, yeah, and we still need to add red. Couldn't imagine spending that much time painting each figure. I think I'll stick to X-Wing. I figure that. I hear that. I mean, we're not there yet. We're just getting into Vader. Vader still has plenty to go. We haven't even gotten to we still need to do his lightsaber. We still need to do the glow from his lightsaber. We still need to do the rocks. There's still lots of stuff to go on. We still have, I don't know. I mean, I would say we're maybe a quarter of the way there. We're going to keep working on him, though, and we'll get there. My paint, www.zugzurok. Welcome in, by the way, J Road Dog and Zug. Haven't seen you in here before, so good to see you. My paint collection has like 4 to 5 brands: Citadel, P3, Reaper, Vallejo, and I can't remember the last one. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what probably most typical painters, their collections kind of turn into. I think that if you haven't heard me say it before, hear me say it now. There is no one brand that is the best brand. Okay, every brand has good things about it and bad things about it. Citadel, really great colors, right? All their paints, I really like their paints. Their paints are good. Bad things about Citadel: they come in the silly pots. The pots are dumb. I wish Citadel would just figure out that dropper bottles are the advanced correct technology and just move on with those, right? If they did that, it would be hard to, I mean, it would be hard to pass up what Citadel does. But since they don't, it's easier. You know, Vallejo has a huge range of paints. Huge. One of the biggest, I mean, almost for sure the biggest paint range in all of miniature painting. But some of their paints, I mean, they don't do yellows very well. Whites can be real awkward to work with. They can be really chalky if you aren't used to working with them. So there's some definite downsides to Vallejo. Army painters paints almost always require you to do like excessive amounts, what I consider excessive amounts of thinning. They're always come out so thick, for me at least. The ones that I've used. Now, I haven't used Army Painter in quite a while, so if that's not the case, that's okay. How's Road Dog watching? I didn't think they had electricity in Louisiana. Agree. Road Dog says, I agreed. I use certain paints from a ton of brands. Vallejo Air is amazing. Citadel's Flash Kits Air is one of the best yellows on the market. Right. So we're gonna try maybe on the next X-Wing paint that we do, we'll try these Pro Acryl, the Pro Acryl line, and I'll give you the lowdown on those. The reason why these are exciting to me is, one, I've heard other really good painters use them and they have really liked them. Two, they're really affordable. You have some, like, this is like 26 paints I got for like $80, right? Which doesn't seem like a lot, or seems expensive when you're looking at it on your face. You're like, man, that's a lot for paint. But I mean, for paint, that's a good deal. I mean, that's a good deal for paint. So if these paints wind up being like real good, then I'll just recommend that people like pick up these, especially new painters, right? New painters who are like, I don't have any paints, I need paints, what should I buy, right? The answer, right, I don't really have a great answer for them right now, because I mean, all paints are pretty expensive, so they just need to figure out the stuff that they like. But if I can find a good set of paints that people can just be like, yeah, just buy this, start with this, and then you'll know, right? And then you'll know what paints you want to use. That would be optimal for me. But I'm not going to tell you to buy something I haven't tried before. Because if it stinks, I don't want to be that guy. W has pretty good yellows, pretty good washes. Scale 5 for mattes and metallics. Vallejo is pretty good overall. Makes really nice washes. AZ Zona just coming out of the woodwork, giving us the knowledge bomb right there. Yeah, I agree with all that. Army Painter for washes is an underrated comment. Army Painter makes the best washes. All right. If you don't have, so these guys right here, strong tone, dark tone, soft tone, right? If you want washes, man, those Army Painter washes, they do work. Kind of going back over this white on his helmet plate. Thing about faces on these models is you really need to figure out the parts that you want to accentuate, and then accentuate those parts. Because it's really easy to, like what I'm doing on his face right now, it's really easy to go overboard, right? Or man, like, oh, that's too bright, right? So we're gonna have to knock that down a little bit. But we're gonna keep working on this guy. He's not gonna go anywhere. We'll finish it. We'll definitely be painting him on stream. Probably the next stream that we have, we'll finish him up, or at least continue work on him. Because if we start work on another project, we'll never come back to this guy. He'll just be sitting half painted forever. That would just be unfortunate for how good of a sculpt and how good of a model this is. Yeah. And I would say for figures that are like this, that are just like, that are, you know, super cool, definitely give yourself some time to really like think about how, like, after you do a certain parts of the model, think about how you actually want to like continue on with him. um Sometimes just painting a whole set of models, especially when you're new, painting them all like right away, right as you start, in one go, isn't always the best answer. Sometimes you want to sometimes the better answer is just to sit, give it a hot second. I have the Gator spinning the electrofusion device. Every supervillain needs one. Awesome. Vader is a good break before Wave 4 comes out, definitely. KD returns to the finals. What does KD mean? What? Talk to me. I don't know what KD is. Oh, I mean, the only KD I know is Kingdom Death, but I don't think you're talking about the board game. So we're gonna take some of this glaze, right, and we're gonna start kind of glazing over this white. We want the white to be out there, but it doesn't. But not like this. Not like this. For those that didn't catch the Avengers reference, that was an Avengers reference. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. It's worth it. It's good. Could probably paint all of Legion on stream before Wave 4 comes out. I mean, it depends on why Wave 4 is held up. I mean, if Wave 4 is held up because of, you know, American customs and worried about tariff prices with, you know, other countries and stuff like that, then I mean, yeah, who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? That's looking great already. That red saber is gonna look awesome. Yeah, it's looking okay. We're getting there. I mean, I appreciate the support, but there's a long way to go for this to look like a truly good mini. We'll get there. Some of this is pretty grody here. So some of these lines are pretty thick, so we're gonna use this black and dark gray thing to kind of de-thicken them a little bit. Yes, I said de-thicken. I know that's not really a word, but it is today. Does anyone here play? Oh, Kevin Durant, the Warriors. Okay, the NBA. All right, sports ball. Got it. Cool. Epionic, I'm happy that you're happy. I'm excited that you're excited. I think that's great. 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 Um I want to, but I don't want to when Vassal's free. I hear you, man. Like, spend all this money on X-Wing. It's hard to justify spending more money on X-Wing that's not X-Wing. I'm just kind of going into different areas, letting different places as they dry. That's kind of, I'm kind of like picking up these little pieces. I feel like if I work on Vader's face anymore right now, I'm gonna kind of explode. I just want to not see a blowout. All right, well, I hope you get your wish. You need to inform me. You need to inform me, Epionic, about how the sports ball is the next time we talk, so that when I'm at the water cooler with all of the other people, because I mean I live in Indiana now. Everybody's all about the basketball life in Indiana, so usually I'm talking to people about work stuff, projects, and other silliness. That's just because I don't have anything more to talk to them about, like KD returning to the finals. I'll use that tomorrow. Say, hey guys, KD returned to the finals. I'll be like, what? I'll be like, the NBA, man, get with it. Kevin Durant. Yeah, because they ask less questions when I act like I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Kevin Durant, man. Don't you know? Don't you know about the NBA? And then they'll be like, yeah, I know about the... You don't know nothing. You don't know nothing about the NBA. That's exactly how it will go, guys. Then they'll be like, oh, okay, well, sorry. But really, I don't even know any. I mean, I followed. I haven't watched an NFL game in years. Um, I couldn't even tell you what like the rules of basketball are. Like, I don't understand like what fouling is and why, you know, getting in the way is sometimes a foul, but sometimes not a foul, and sometimes like obviously like punching the guy in the face, that's a foul, right? Or like smacking him in the nose when you're trying to get the ball, that's a foul. But like sometimes other fouls are just like, I don't understand why that's a foul. Just ludicrous to me. So I mean, I could look it up if I had like the will, but I don't. Movement is done for you, no measurement range or checking arcs. A lot of stuff goes by quicker, but a lot of stuff in Vassal and in Vassal, a lot of stuff is slower because you can't just, you have to like type out words to your opponent, or you have to, like, you're online, and so like just the interface is different than the tactile nature of X-Wing. So, not to take anything away from it, I think it's a great tool, right? Boom. Ugh. Not sure I'm liking this pure white. I think I might need to move down a shade into some gray or something. It's just not really working for me. Just don't talk to your opponent. Just do your things. If I talk, it's probably game over already, win or lose. That's funny. But how are you supposed to create that small chit chat? How are you supposed to create that bond that's gonna last for more than just a game? That's okay. I think I have the solution, guys. I have the solution. Gonna glaze over the whole thing now that it's kind of highlighted, and we're gonna just kind of see where that goes, see where that takes us. I always use Discord chat. It's easier in person. Virtual Discord, like Lou said, would be better. Yeah, I'm just playing. I love Vassal. And I also love getting salty on Vassal. It's like not quite my favorite part of X-Wing, but it's one of my favorite parts of X-Wing. Like, just like being huffy at someone in a Vassal game, because it almost comes off as sarcasm, but sometimes it doesn't. They're just like, what, man? What? I'm just playing the game. It's 9:13. Well, let's see. We got some face going. Hopefully everybody started picking some of this stuff up. This cape is starting to look okay. I'm starting to be a little bit happy with that. I mean, black is just such a hard color because you can't be just black. It's black and everything else. So, but I think we have our color scheme a little bit down. I'm pretty happy with this. Oh heck yeah. Salt. That's right. So I think we're gonna end for tonight. We're gonna end here. Unless anybody else has anything important to say it now. Or just wait. Like I said, wife is due on Wednesday. We're probably on hiatus on Thursday. Maybe not though. So I don't know. I'll let you guys know on the Discord. And if you haven't joined the Discord, join the Discord. Discord right here. Exclamation point DISCORD. Boom. Join up. And we're going to be doing more Super Smash Brothers. I'll keep you in tune on the Discord there. Join that Super Smash Brothers channel. Make sure you're following. And guys, I want you to have just an awesome week. Jump in on that Discord, send those pictures, the things that you've been painting, ask for help, talk to everybody else. Let's continue to build this community. If you're having fun doing this and you're talking to other people who are painting, why don't you jump on and get them to jump on, right? I mean, basically, if we want this channel to grow, word of mouth is the key. We should play Smash tonight. Maybe. Let's talk about it in the Discord. I'm potentially open to that. All right. Cool, guys. With that, have an awesome week. Do your best to be good to each other. Watch the podcast tomorrow. Games on Wednesday. I don't know if something's going on Friday. Echo Base on Sunday. All right, guys. Peace.